Will, how do you explain the 411 rushing yards?
Well, just, from all three levels. You got to play blocks up front. You can't get split on double teams. You can't get cut out of gaps. You have to address blocks in the core as a linebacker in a game like that. You have to be able to get off blocks and make a tackle. You have to leverage the ball from the secondary, and you got to tackle. And a lot of it's want to. You got to want to stick your face in the fan and tackle. And that team out physicaled us on Saturday. And frustrating, disappointing, embarrassing, whatever you want to call it. And it starts with me. We're going to get better. We're going to continue to improve and move forward. And I knew there'd be some tough days, but we're going to certainly extremely frustrated with the performance, starting with the first play, but more than anything, not responding. That was probably the most frustrating thing. So, moving on to Mississippi State, they got a good football team. Dak Prescott's an outstanding player. Dan Mullen's done a phenomenal job at Mississippi State, and a guy that I've got a lot of respect for offensively and what he's done as a head coach there, but offensively he's always been very challenging to prepare for, and we certainly have our work cut out for us here Saturday night at home.
Well, do you anticipate any personnel changes?
Yeah, there'll be. I mean, you'll see Saturday night. Whenever you play coach / whatever as dismal as we did, you got to make some changes. That's just bottom line. You can't continue to get the same results. And really, the first two games, winning coach ensues a lot of things. And been trying to tell these guys every Sunday after the game. We got to communicate better. We got to have better eye control. We have to have better discipline. We have to, multiple things. You say it over and over and over again. But again, winning Susan coats a lot of things. And so sometimes before you have triumph, you have to have great tragedy. And we certainly did Saturday.
When there's a misalignment, like there was a couple times on Saturday, just who's responsible for those things? Is that a Mike situation? Is that a D-line situation? Or what's the issue there?
On misalignment, I don't know that we had a bunch of misalignments. We had some eye control issues and not watching the right stuff, so I don't know. You've been meeting with our defense or something? You know how we line up?
Just looking at a Pro Football Focus look that saw a strong side of the rotation and had misalignment. Their look on mine.
Okay, well, that's good.
Well, did you see anything?
But there are communication issues that we've had for our entire fall at linebacker, and at safety. And we don't talk enough. We've tried to reduce our package week to week to week, and it's frustrating, in order to make a strength call and things like that you seem to sometimes as a college coach take for granted. And so, again, this comes back on me. I haven't done a good enough job of preparing the players, obviously. So we'll continue to reduce and find out what we can do. I mean that in sincerity. So.
Did you see anything from Deshaun Davis in the short time he was in the game?
I made a couple plays, Yep.
Not to make it about one play, Will, but just because it kind of became emblematic of the day, what was Trey's explanation for that leaping tackle exactly? What was he trying to do there, other than obviously tackle?
Well, he was trying to tackle the guy, and, so it didn't obviously come out the way he wanted it to. Trey's a really good football player, a very physical player, and certainly, would like to have had better judgment in how he tackled or attempted to tackle on that particular play. And so certainly is extremely easy to be critical sitting in the stands and watching when Leonard Fournette's running down your throat. So that's a different point of view.
As you look at what you want to do at Buck, do you look at Casimo and McKenzie? Or
Well, we played him some there Saturday on third down. We'll continue to look at find our best. We just got to find our best 11 right now. And the guys are willing to play within the scheme and the system and do the things the right way and look at the right stuff and execute the call. And that's what we're trying to get right now.
do you think about relying more on some freshmen, even some starting spots, possible?
Oh, yeah, well, absolutely. Yep. We've already had some start, so that's certainly.
Coach, is there why hasn't Byron Howard been more involved, especially with Carl Lawson being out the last couple games?
Well, they're playing different positions. So Byron's been playing the strong end position for us, and he played a bunch Saturday, and he'll continue to play more. I think his practice the last 2 weeks have been much better, and a guy that I think will continue to come on. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about the concern of the quarterback run. Obviously, when you play a guy like Dak, that's been something that's kind of given you guys some problems.
No, he's really good. Dan does a great job. Did it Florida in 06 and 07 when we played him. Designing the quarterback runs for the quarterback. He does a fantastic job of developing those schemes and making it very difficult to defend.
Will you anticipate Justin Garrett being able to play this week?
Yes, he went in pregame last week, and I didn't feel good about his quad. He got strained a little bit, but he's practiced. He's taking every. He practiced last week. He's having a hard time on the top end of really cutting it loose, and I don't want to risk another pull. And I felt like Saturday after watching him in pregame that we might, he might have another pull. I'm visiting with our medical staff, and they felt the same way. Justin felt like it was pulling a little bit, but he wanted to play, but they just didn't feel like that he was going to be able to go.
He's good this week.
Yes. Yeah, there's no question he'll play Saturday.
Will, is it accurate that you're not getting what you want out of the senior class in terms of maybe even leadership or on-the-field execution? Or is there individual seniors that you can point to?
No, I think there's been some guys that have done some nice jobs, but from a total standpoint, Saturday is a typical first play, and you don't respond. And that's not just a senior class. Any good player that's been productive can be a leader. Whether you're a freshman, you're a sophomore, you're a junior, you're a senior. And we need certainly more of that and more productive play. That's what we need. That'll help.
Well, there was a lot of talk about Everett, one particular play that was shown on TV over and over again. Mm-hmm. Was that an issue?
Again, one play certainly in getting beat and giving up 400 yards rushing, certainly will pile on that, every play that no one gave any effort. There were guys that played extremely hard in that game. And certainly, that play was not indicative of what we want to be here at Auburn as a football program, number one, but certainly as a defense. So we'll continue to move forward and educate the young men on how we're going to do things around here. Quite frankly, we are changing the culture a little bit. We got to practice better. We got to prepare better. We got to play better. And so that's what we plan on doing.
Well, these communication issues you mentioned at linebacker and safety, is that something that coming out of spring you felt good about, or is that something you kind of...
No, it's always been an issue. So it's something that we felt, again, you get out and practice, and we practice with crowd noise, and we do all the stuff that you need to do to be successful on game day. I've done this 100 times now. So it's just a matter of communicating in front of 90,000 people and making the calls and making the adjustments in the game. That's been a bigger issue than the communication. Is if somebody does something a little different, you have to be able to adjust to it. And that's, just applying concepts of what we do has been frustrating. But again, we've got to continue to move forward. We have good enough players to have a good defense, and we will before the year's out. And I'm excited about Saturday night, another opportunity. It's a bad thing about football. You got to wait a week to play. So very frustrated and disappointed. And again, it falls on my shoulders, nobody else. And we just got to do a better job of preparing the players.
Well, how much different were you going into the Louisville game when you had everybody? You had Carl, you had everybody.
It doesn't matter, Phil. We're going to put 11 out there at a time. So it don't matter. We're going to prepare the guys that practice and are eligible to play. And it is what it is. Injuries are part of this game. So you got to move forward. Next man up.
Will, can you talk about how TJ is doing with his comeback?
Good. I mean, he's been cleared. He's practicing. Not yet, kind of we'll visit with Dr. Andrews again this weekend and kind of figure out, timetable. And he's been cleared, but it's been a while, and not being involved in full contact yet. We're thudding right now in practice and things, so he'll be a guy that certainly will can contribute for us as we move forward. But just to make sure he's totally full speed, and having been through this a lot before with players, it's they need to build the confidence in themselves and their knee, and that's what we're doing right now.
You have to proceed without Carl, obviously, but when you were so cautious with him back in the spring and everything, and then having this happen so fast, and clearly the defense looks different with him on the field. It can't not be, just that kind of player. Is it demoralizing to not just the coaches, but players when a player of that caliber is out for an extended period of time?
Well, I don't know that it's frustrating. I would demoralizing wouldn't be the right word. I think from a standpoint of the frustration you have for a young man like Carl, who really enjoys practice, he enjoys meetings, he enjoys the game, he enjoys competing, he enjoys playing. To see the frustration he and his family are going through. His dad was in the building the other day. I mean, that's what really hurts you as a coach. It's just the individual. Obviously, how does it affect your football team? Frustrates you, but really you hurt for the young man because of the football is important to him, and when something that's very important to him gets taken away, and to see his frustration, we spend a lot of time with these young men. They're kind of your own guys, and to see them go through those no different than your own child at home. To see them go through frustration is pretty excruciating for you as a coach or parent.
In addition to Dak Prescott, what other areas State's offense give you some concern?
Well, again, I think they've recruited extremely well. Wilson's a very difficult matchup. Ross is a very difficult matchup. They got some weapons outside. I think that they've done a really nice job of recruiting different size backs for what they want to be able to do. Shumpert certainly a big physical back, and they've got some guys they can throw in there that got some speed and can get on the edges, and they free release in the passing game. But they're just well tied together, in my opinion, from the run game and the pass game. And they create what I call run-pass conflicts as far as your linebackers are concerned and your safeties at times are concerned, and the run force as far as running the football and creating play action off the same runs. And Dan does a really nice job of tying those things together to create issues for you. A lot of misdirection, a lot of eye candy as far as the motions and the shifts and the different things that we see with our offense. So, but again, they do a good job, and they're a hard-nosed football team. That's the thing that jumps off the film at you. They're going to come toe-to-toe with you, and you got to go stick your face in the fan. You got to like it.
Well, in your experience as a defensive coordinator, are there any years that you can remember getting off to a slow start like this, and as you talked about, the team got better and you had a good defense behind the
No, again, we were very young last year at Florida in the secondary, and we struggled in some early games and really played really good football in the middle and in the later part of the season, but not as a whole defense. We played well in our front seven. So just as a total group, no. I've never been this situation, but again, I'm very excited about the group we have and the future and where we're headed. I'm in this for the long haul. This is a great place to be, and I'm excited about the players we have on campus, the players we're recruiting, and Gus and the job he's doing. So I'm excited about these guys. We got to do a better job of coaching the guys and put them in situations where they can be successful. That's our job, your job as a coach, and I haven't done that good enough. So we'll get better.
Well, what have you seen from defensive perspective of Sean White?
An accurate thrower that's athletic and certainly functions very well in our system. I think he understands our system very well. And I think under the situations, and I don't know when Gus named the starter into camp sometime, but certainly there was good competition going on, in my opinion, just from a defensive perspective, a guy that was very productive and that these players have a lot of confidence in. And I think that's as much as anything when you see in the quarterback situation is the confidence that the players have in them, and I certainly, and Jeremy and Sean, that our players did.